Pushing for me mama kwaba at about tips and just YouTube. And then medile kakra because of one or two things. Me who mo ma banning na from 420 and I'm for starting a train me say your friend pon. Or say I'm a Ghanaian living outside Ghana. I would like to find out about the lottery. And one thing and maba and then yeba discuss the DV program 2025. The section matudi the DS260 form application form discussion. Now, who we need American lottery, you are supposed to fill the application form. The DS260 form. Until I know and I ever discuss it because minimum say there Saturday. Most of you guys will be reading. All right. Now, who we need American lottery, you are supposed to check the results yourself. I was a one kasa o check the results no. Na who say we win. And now any message be email mo. Nobody is going to send you an email. When your email say we win American lottery is scam. Because it do that time we are and a lot of scammers are available on the internet and they are ready to scam you guys. Inti ayana machine so ade amame. Now me pese mo kan ade bi Friday ayanya meboa ochina your life no is going to be around how to retrieve your lost confirmation number because you need a confirmation number to check your results. It de me free ho and it's a wa confirmation number. Try and remember the email address. I would do a lottery, no, and I think so udin, full name, and I think so date of birth. Sanya mami and some way say, Utimi nya at the mammy yame watchina. A idea means to meet me and your confirmation number no at the amount. Nothing so wet me and who results. Now, one kasa o check your results no with your confirmation number. When we near Obeka says sorry, you were not selected. Try again another time. But we near you are going to get a congratulation message. Message, it will be addressed by the KCC, United States Department of State, elector like this. I'm going to project on YouTube, but TikTok for no. I'm going to read, and so you can follow. If you want to see, you must come on YouTube to see. Now, obviously, I cannot sleep. Please, you have to sleep, right? You have to sleep. Relax. The results is already out. Just that Emma Bonte, so please relax. I'm just here to facilitate you. I'm not here to scare you. So relax, right? You need this information. Men try my own winning an agent to be abedo 400 million, 500 million. That is why I'm here to educate you. But you have to relax. All right. Now you're gonna get a message. Let me try and project it on the screen for us. And I'm in share screen, okay? Just give me a minute. Present slide PDF. Desktop. I don't know if you can read it. I said too much. All right, let me try and share a screen. I think that is going to be better. Let me try and share a screen. Just give me a minute, all right? So you have to check the results yourself and make sure that where we need. Munya emailer say where we near a scam. Most of the time, no matter different platforms, so ama scammers no ama trapping mo email address add their to her until results no more releasing a sana. Obon say oma start na omo contact mo where we need American lottery. Where we need American lottery. Intimate show Shannon so a bit me how pa right Shannon so. Let me try and project share screen. Yeah, exactly. I think this is better now. Yeah. Eti mo hwɛ screen so a mo hu sɛ ade na me kan no one lady bi a o win American lottery last year me check results no na a 6 May last year then about 6 May. But because of free Ethiopia, but because main person the details no ebeba abonti because still na our process so right. Enti my editing ne din ne address ne confirmation number no me de Ghana de enti my Eunice Konedu and na me de Ghana address right my editing and no na me de betchera there. It's not fair so obi confirmation ebeba but original one no na ekura me ewa ha say it motion on the right top now. We see a United States Department of State, Kentucky Consular Center, and our more address on A3505 North Highway 25W, right? Williamsburg, KY 40769. That is the address of the KCC. And also on the left hand top now, also crest, USA crest, Kentucky Consular Center crest, and a USA and a date now we know original document date is 6 May 2023 but editing no my 4th May 2024 because sir and a beba would the so and they are going to address your full name and I think so PO box now what the American lottery no hopefully lottery no one send emoji address it address no sa pepe and omo de be so now for dear now full name no aba into we my dear Imano sorry Ines Quenedo right. It is bibi sa ena obehu. All right. Now me pese yen nyina yebom na yekan. Into I say you have been randomly selected for further processing in the diversity immigrant visa for the fiscal year. Original document na year 2024, but me amaye edit na year 2025. All right. Because all the na omaye 2025. Or say selection does not guarantee that you will receive a visa because the number of applicants selected is greater than the number of visas available. Ebusuya sabrofo no odwen ho sen. Or say selection does not guarantee that you will receive a visa because the number of applicants selected is greater than the number of visas available. Me catch you say this year visas on de bema 55,000 but omo be winning lottery Saturday no 125,000 people. Itima mbe jubilate no emu 70,000 enya de ombenya visa no. They do that because bebrebe wini ebedu time amocha visa no na ebi ewu enipa ewu right enipa eyare enye obia ebi nso benya omadwen besesa sa America kra omunya nkobiem obi won so a otwantro nwie secondary school ba otwantro no wawini enti sa ne mani nyina enti elimination tactics no mo be ye nti omo emma enkrofo ebe wini no ebro so echen visa ewo ho sa na opese wo kire so I say selection where we need Saturday na a selection no it does not guarantee that you will receive a visa because the number of people on we need Saturday no is greater than the number of visas available. Therefore, it is very important that you carefully follow instructions to increase your chances of issuance. Or say visa na yerbema wa your chances bi wo ha wan kasa betimi increase. Te America buy no kra kire say ye woni ema bi wo ha would go akwa it me increase your chance. A binan kasa na atwere say your chances be or would go akwa it me increase your chance. And where do you see those chances? Or say the instructions are located on the Department of State website. E ho na nano medo koye nano Tuesday no mokaya aye ko share enema procedure from stage number 3 ekosi time a ube rem America ye discussing medicals interview me say and select Ghana all those tricks you need it to be able to get interview date and to be able to get a visa because select Ghana no when you interview data how do you get a visa you see so me telling you that don't even choose Ghana choose country with many appointment in terminal that these are all chances of you getting the visa and within a binding catch also follow instructions to increase your chance of a possible visa issuance. And what was also all DV applicants must use the online DS260 immigrant visa and alien registration application form. And then you discuss it. So you are going to fill the application form online. You can say be online and actually say also data extra computer and you don't have to print it. Now with the pen, I fill in or submitting. No, you are going to submit the DS260 form online. All right. Your case will be scheduled. Sorry, your case will not be scheduled for an interview appointment until a visa number is available and the principal applicant or selectee has submitted a completed and valid DS260 application. So the person watching and say, and nadia o case no omobema interview appointment da. Kopem so omo hu say ubenya visa and say what fill DS260 form no e dia mo and yes what fill no kwa it should be complete. Baby anywhere was a wujatum. You have to submit a complete and a valid DS260 form. Now omo hwem say you are good for the visa, right? And son of mama interview. Intimacy brofune subiem. Or see your case will not be scheduled for interview appointment until number 1, a visa number is available. Number 2, the principal applicant Ayewono has submitted a complete and valid DS260 application. You will need to provide all other documentations at the time of interview. Now Tuesday, me catch you discuss it. Documents are oko interviewer or the be contain discuss it. Professor video. Okwa odi ni nyina ebeko. All right. Now yanko form. Or say if you are selected for an interview, you will receive an email notification. So at this point, I happen to win your email. Time I was submitted DS260 form. Na omoshe say ubenya visa and na omoshe say you are eligible for the visa no. Answer I must schedule for interview no. Schedule for the interview na ho and I be receiving email from the KCC say yamao interview. And Saturday one check results now tonight them no be send email. Say congratulations when we need American lottery a scam. Who we near yan canchero a interview pen kwa they send you email. All right. Note these important emails will be sent to the email you provided on your initial application. Initial application a timer October, November, oye lottery no email na de no. Eho and omobe send all the important or interview abekoni ade nyina ho no mo de befa. And to say notify the KCC or the email address amount and then who was screen so no, right? Notify them so email nas for instance, ebia agent na yema or agent ne de on one kasa email and a yema and the assessor or person with the ya and catch the KCC for send them a mail. Say my win American lottery, but me email nam there and me person say I'm for every information and for way so my now the correct one there. Ama or and I say if you need to contact the KCC about your case, you need to write to an more address number. I say when writing to the KCC, you must always include your name, your case number as they appear below. You must also include your complete date of birth as stated on your original entry. Into within your case number and our date of birth and now with the Bema KCC. Now afi brofo kura pesa o chere ka ho no ebia agent bi na yema me and access BB bra bra and case agent bi kura no say me initial one me the email address but say no me masesa me email address. That's all. Enti owie no ena lady no case number no or the etwa so now the original case number no na 2024 ena case number no etwa so mama ye editing I 2025 it case number and this is how it looks, right? It's lady ni na my editing, right? My editing kakra me the figures ni masisa figures ni bi ena hanso na 2024 masisa na no 2025. I don't want you to see the lady's case number ena hasin so na o ma training din e wo ho and away there is the same thing. And the country no na in Ethiopia. And post no in Addis Ababa, right? But me so my sister na in Ghana, Accra, because I don't want you to know the ladies. Also the case number is edited exactly. It me am edit BB. I don't want you guys to see the ladies' case number, but the original document is with me here because me and me checking the results no Emmanuel last year. So at this point, ohun bibia I see Mr. King Solomon, the case number I edited, not the original one. I don't really understand conversation at ECOSWAP. So, guys, at this point, let us move to the DS264, our main discussion for today. So, at least you have an overview of how who we near the message is going to be, right? Every information I have given to you tonight, and I said this evening. All right, let me read some few messages before I proceed to the main lesson for today. I say, please, tips, can I do my biometric in Ghana and do the interview in a different country? So the biometric and the interview is combined. Okay, interview na honey a fingerprint, right? Other countries, to say Canada and UK, yeah, interview. That is why you do biometric. But America, we interview, so they combine everything. All right. Hello, tips. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you guys. Good evening. Mamo Chacha Nina. I've seen all your messages. I cannot read them. Hello, just I sent message regarding if you happen to win and you're residing in another country other than the country, you don't have to worry. We are going to discuss everything today. All right. I think that is all for that. Okay. Now some sections you be cover with DS260 form also. More than 14 sections and then you be discuss it. Me contem because 14 sections enema will be emu. So me contem. Ye winning lottery area, I will do another section for my winning no. But I hold the sections ye be fa ne kakra. Ebia ene ye fa 5 sections near discussing into details. Now yasa for another ebia 4 sections another day. Kopim say ye be winning nyina. But ene dey ye overview of the DS264. Now the first section personal information 1. Personal information 1. Second one no personal information 2. Third section no present and previous address. Baby I would say here any baby watna etwem dada. Address be no. That is the section number 3. The fourth section no mailing and permanent address. Baby I person mo mailing and niema ebro. Your mail address. Section number 4. We're going to discuss a lot about that one. Number 5 no family information into bracket your parents. Into my papa the C section family information, that is your spouse into bracket or spouse or yere bema or yere or your ukunu, your spouse. Number 7 family information into bracket your previous spouse or yere dada and I say ukunu dada. Number 8 family information into bracket children or ma information a whole section also you better discuss it a lot around. The 9th one previous US travel information. What to call America pay. Then that information is section number 9. And I think so the 10th one present work education and training information. It was Juma sesi awoye and awoko school sesi awo school information and I say usuansa no Juma o training information, right? Number 11 previous work Juma wa twem, previous education school awakwa twem, previous training ni nyina information was section 11. Section 12 additional work education and training page. So additional IBA. Then number 13 petitioner information page. Also you better discuss about that. And the 14th one security and background, medical and health, and other questions be bring so it was so in the last section. So these are the sections I better discuss it and make up fast kakra. If you want a detailed who really American lottery now, you get a detailed presentation on that. At this point, me sign edewutwem ko the travel.state.gov na eho yakohwe ade ewo ho. All right, OSHA screen is what United Department of State, US Department of State, right? So I have say link made a direct link ebeto enye ontimi remo direct enye so call ha na wahu we your baby a me wure ya me be pie I say, right? Normally we call American visa portal na you're going to see something like this, right? Something like this. So American lottery, you have to go American lottery no na wakwa na fe wabe pay ahase. Now obe pay ahase ya ahana application form no enyina ewo, right? One say or the non-immigrant the DS160 form or the DS1648 or the you can say the how to check application status and also or immigrant or DS261, DS260. And we are going to focus on the DS260. So what we are supposed to do is to click on the DS260 into bar on say mede mouse and it also no. Well, you can say I highlight it, so I'm able to click into me click so na the mark DS260 page into ebe load. Into motion a load the DS260 or say signing in. Now I say welcome to the Counselor Electronic Application Center. Enti or say I have say open case number. Enti how be can click I have read the terms and conditions because or the near may be a day. I has say also okay. Na also be sa case number. Enti uwini ya case number chrono na what type ashe ho. Now obo case number no na wetin a ebe highlight say wetin. Because I'm a person me type abayo ne case number she ho ninti. Meyi screen no every so na ma type ashe mu back doors. Na your next session na masa a present it, right? Makacho say lady no we need last year onyanko America, so I cannot show her details. All right. So just give me a minute. Now I'm typing the case number no ancient. Eti mosha asa be another section ama me. Case number bi wo ho ma edit it. Me bo original one no ena edi me ba ha sei. Ena na case number no e show ena ma edit me the numbers be akeka ho na ma changes be. So the me person me say I want you to appreciate how it's going to be done, right? It's ubo case number ni share ho a ebe bie ama wo say. So you see your case number written there and other information ebe wo ho. So don't take this case number serious. On say e highlight my editing. Now I have to baby sao the principal applicant's surname into o surname now wabashe ho and your full name or surname pe now wabashe ho. Now o date of birth format no or see DD MMMYYY. DD nature say the day, the month, and the year. Now Osha has say so wait to me as select it. Say oh yeah July 07, right? Oh yeah June sorry, we are 7th 07. A day no month and so we are June a JUN, right? Intina a MMM 3 can say letters and year no now one kasa type into be 1995. Now what type here day e show into how about the fancy be a units, right? About units no e show. About units no e show. Now about date of birth e show. Now date of birth what the American lottery no and sano, right? And one be boy say any case number no M4. Now for electronic diversity confirmation number. Now what about confirmation number no ashe hase. Now the difference between case number and a confirmation number no time I want to lottery ne yede ma wo eno na be check results it was abebo ashe ha case number ne de uwini a na ubenya nti eno no o print where we no sa message na be print no o case number no e wo so so di kan bo case number no e hye so ho na ebie ma wa na afi wasa bebo o date of birth udin and a confirmation number no uwi a na wabisa say why na airfilly DS260 form no na wa select me ankasa either the applicant that is a one kasa and a all fill into one say I am the applicant me ankasa na me fill DS260 form no say you be na airfilly amawa say a lawyer bia then lawyer no e ho be select attorney that is a lawyer and a airfilly amount and a fin so say a third party agent be na e yamawa ono so be select third party agent na eya na manfo endi no kre agent bi o ya ma kra na wa twere se on one kasa na we which is not fair, right? Because tips and just I'm here to guide you into how you are going to select the applicant mi ankasa and ameye ma de. Then we have some security e bi wa ha say authentication code na wa the way yes is show ho no na what type e de ahye ho. Now you are going to see like SY6 said the one BMWV, right? WV. On say a very tricky. What share we now Becca say WN and but N we know AW into V a honey bear V. It is sometimes Oba Becca say wetty. So I was oboni we want share Becca say W now sade the 9 way now sabe N, which is not like that into AW V. We are now about continue. Now over continue na afei na section na nkasa yede ebie at the amount. At this point, so I feel now joining me with YouTuber and my comment is well lose a lot because the YouTube video is being stored. And Ocean, you can even click on it and go back. Opa won't try my empo. See, and I don't have screen so bit me actually actually now I can share from the beginning. And yes, as I upon now I share from the beginning. All right. Now at this point, because I cannot enter the confirmation number, I cannot enter a lot about the lady, my editor unity. Me enter so I am going offline and we are going to discuss it offline. Yo, a way I may see a presenting near my ubehu ewo computer no so my downloading offline. I made this our forms no ubehu say the same color, right? And no I made a bachelor say here. It's Osha screen is what they see I'm a free American portal ho and my download how the DS2 system is here because intimate to us so meant me for big details MIF and the bra nipano onyankoye. So yeah the offline the no and a now the same thing now be online into funny serious. This is a sample to address sample so now Osha has here also case number. For instance, when you be ya now what type of case number no Asha has we are now about continue, right? What type of case number now? I should say now about continue, baby amounts no one what type of continue, not the about the next page. The next page, once I have wakata case number no so no. Tied over the next page now. Also case number no ewa ha. Na ha say wabisa woni amane maybe I am the applicant near that say the mu hu ye no. Na wabo sa character no. Na wabo continue. Na fe at the web rem, right? At the web rem wankasa. All right. Enti I have say getting started. I have say ena edi ye ebe started. Now the first section personal information. That is the first section edu rema ubehu. Now under the personal information one, you are going to see your surname. Into your surname no we define it. Me say it's very easy because definition crowd into what you try help surname what a surname is and what a given name is and what other name is. And to kind definition no kra woni mo surname na definition na nkasa kra no etimi e kire what your surname is but menim say obia enim ne surname right into about surname ne hwa then given name no na what now the given name no it should be your first name and other middle name ne nyina wo de ne nyina e be hye ho for instance wodi ye 4 to say me ametia me din ye 4 na menya tre me surname na miensa na aka ne nyina no me first name ne middle name ne nyina no me de ne nyina e be ba the given names. Oh yeah, or full name in native alphabet. Now a what type it would do surname or full name. So your surname, your middle name, and your first nina we type in full. So for instance, would the Beatrice Ama Ponsa, what try Amponsa Ashe surname, and a given names no what try Beatrice Ama Ashe right? Over full name in native alphabet na a hobby type in Beatrice Ama Ponsa nina at the Ashe. Now, we are baby say, have you ever used any other name? To say religious, professional, Elias, into ebia, oh yeah, doctor, and I say, oh yeah, software, right? Reverend, and it's animal mana. When was select yes. The moment I be select yes, no, obema some options be, maybe I know I select reverend, and I say doctor, and I say, right, so in either a professional name and I be bisano, right? You can also use that abbreviations and any name be there too. If you okra na to say, if you more ya hemfo, omodi ankata no mo enkonwa din no asesa a change. So that is also over there. Then or sex. Or your bar and say bema and 2 times daily nibia. Mama fele forms are who do sex are not actually 2 times daily and nubia. So sex no a bar male or female not was selecting mobile. Then marital status now was selected. Please some marital status select one now what no. Whatever you select is going to affect the remaining of the forms. The house selected singular, there are some options are or selected married or forms, there are some sections are ubehu ewa wodi enim. So or selected singular, enya de obebisa or wife din. But or selected married obebisa or wife din. And wa wari ejaya we divorcee, right? And kwaya single the habit we divorcee nti ehon so select ya obema wabo ukunu no, right? Or ex-husband and also ex-wife no editors ede asho. Ukunu ewu oyere ewu a wonya single oye widow anase widower nti sa options ni nyina ewo ho a so oye online ho a you're very careful of the options you take because you are going to defend yourself during the American kind of say interview. All right, now date of birth na eno so wa select ewo ho nti official because we di kan boy nti we bedru ho no na eno ankasa kra atwere ehye ho e de amount. Now city of birth no obehu ewo wo birth set ne so eno na ya na ye place of birth ewo birth set ne so ya na amanfo e confused obi wo ha ye wo ne Kumase but omo ye mfantefo ne maame aka chen say of resort pon but ne birth set so ye wo ne Kumase ne maame ne papa kotena Kumase ne wo no so Kumase ne ya trash ne birth set so ti why confused he na ye city of birth my hometown then right is you really confuse people which one is my hometown is it the one on my birth set and I said the one right it is city of birth no and on a place of birth or birth set so because the only document how they argue your birth set so you have to gather your birth set and use that to fill then the state of your or province of birth say yatre a Joshua then state is equivalent to a region in Ghana right America eka state Canada ka province UK ka county right the same way so Ghana say either municipal or region so whichever you state over there they are going to pick it right obviously can you mix with English please all right so the state or the province is depending on it depends on where you come from. It can be a region, it can be a municipal, whichever way that you want to type over there. So if it is a just municipality, you can state or Ashanti region, they are going to select it. All right. Then we have the country or region of birth. So that one you're going to see Ghana over there. Then you select Ghana. If you are in, you are from Kenya or wherever you're from, you're going to see your country over there. All right. Now, after that, we are still under the personal information one. So these are examples, right, of somebody filling the surname, the given names, and other things, right? So we don't need that. Let's go to personal information two. Personal information two, they are going to ask you your country of origin, that is nationality. So that one, where you actually come from, right? Not where you've attained citizenship. I know a lot of people are Ghanaians. They've come to the UK and attained citizens over here. So they are now citizens of the UK. But your region of origin, right? That is where nationality. So if you feel that now you've gotten to become a British national, then you have to select UK. If you are in the UK, if not gotten any citizenship, but is still a citizen of Ghana, then you select Ghana. If you are currently in Qatar and you still hold Ghana passport, you are still a Ghanaian. So where you have nationality, you bear nationality, you select that country. Now, document type, you select a passport. Now, they are going to ask, your passport is compulsory, your passport and any other ID card. So the passport, the document type, the passport is compulsory. So they are going to select the passport for you. So your passport is there. Then the document ID. The ID is the number of the passport. Now, if you pick your passport, where is my passport? Good. If you pick your passport, right, if you open your passport, where the biodata is, on the right upper hand side, there is your passport number, right? There's a passport number over there. So you have to write the passport number. That is the passport ID. I'll say wahala for people who don't understand Chi. I think I'm now speaking English. So you just have to write your passport number at where they've written the document ID. Don't go and type ID card over there. Minimum so be Ghana card, document ID. No, it means your passport ID, right? Or the passport number. Then the country or authority that issued the document. If you look on the passport, you are going to see authority and you are going to see place of issue. So I'll say country or authority. So your passport office. So if you go to who scroll here, a say on passport office, but or the countries and so a honor selected Ghana, but your passport and so their authority no or passport office and a place of issue no what Accra. That is my Ghana passport. But America look to Ophelia because a country and an authority no, you not see passport office, but you are supposed to select Ghana because a country. Then issuance date. Issuance date, a date of issue. The passport in so Ghana, the almost date of issue is the same as issuance date. You're the day, the month, and the year. The format na no, not was selected the same format. Then expiration date or expiration date. It's date be expire. Ghana the no date of expiry, right? It's not a honor so what. So for you guys who don't understand my local language, what I mean is if you look on your passport, you are going to see the country. So you select your country, right? The country that gave you the passport over there. Then the issuance date, you have to see it on your passport, as well as the expiration date. You have to also type that one. Then we are good to go. They ask you, do you hold or have held any nationality aside the one you have? So for instance, if you were a Ghanaian and now you are a British, you are going to use the British passport to fill it. However, if they ask you that question, have you held any other national? You have to say yes. Na so you tell them that I am originally from Ghana and now I just attain a citizenship probably in the UK or in Germany or wherever you listen to me from. All right. So if you don't have it and you're still holding the nationality of your first country, you select no. So it's a yes or no question. If you select yes, other options will come. You have to select type that one. If you select no, you continue. All right. So for instance, if you select yes, right, then they are going to ask you this one, right? All right. Now we have to go on because we are going to select, most of you will select no. Previous and just give me a minute. There's one place you have to select another ID card. Yes. So I told you that it is a passport and another ID card. So this one, you see, they've written select one. So you select the country, then the documentation type. You select probably national ID card, that is your Ghana card, or you can select your driver's license, right? So you select it, then you type the information over there. So just as we did for the passport, the ID card number, the insurance date, the issuance date, the expiry date, and everything, you state it over there. So note that they are going to ask you a passport and another ID card. So you have to state the type of ID card you are using, as well as the number and the date of issuance, the date of expiration. All right. Our next section for discussion is present and previous address. Present and previous address. Now, this is where you live currently. So they ask you your street address. This is not your PO box. No, residential address, right? Your house number, your street. That is what they are asking for. So don't get confused. Don't be writing PO box. So you can see street address, line 1, street address, line 2, city and the state, blah, 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 blah. So for instance, if you are in Ghana, your street address, for instance, if you live in somewhere, Techiman Taco, so the street address can be Taco, right? Then address line 2, you can leave that one. That is optional. So if anytime you see the optional, you can leave that one. And the city is select Techiman, right? The state or the province, because Ghana, we don't use state or province, you select does not apply. Then the postal code, if you don't know Ghana postal code, you just select does not apply, or you can type 00233 as a postcode for Ghana. Then the country, you select Ghana instead of the Argentina you see over there. Then you select when you started living there. So if you were born in Ghana, you have to select your date of birth. So probably January 1994. That is where when you started living in Ghana, right? So you select that. Now they ask you, have you lived anywhere other than this address since the age of 16? So from age 16, have you traveled outside your country or the address, right? Sometimes it can be in Ghana, but the address has changed, right? The town, because if you look at this, they're not only asking about the country, but they're asking about your city, your location. So for instance, if you were in Ghana, Konongo, and now you are in Techiman, then you can say that, yes, I was born in Ghana, Konongo, but I don't live there now. After age 17 years, sorry, after age 16 years, I have moved from Konongo and currently in Techiman. Then you're going to enter that. So as soon as you enter yes, another, if you select yes, another option will come here and you have to enter that address over there. If you have moved out of the country to the same thing, So that one you select yes, I have moved out of that address. Then you select wherever you are, as well as the country. So that one is not going to be Ghana. Probably I'm currently in Dubai, so Dubai address will come on. I'm currently in the UK, in Bahrain, Qatar, wherever you are. The next section under the family information, the address, is your primary phone number. So your telephone number, you have to indicate your telephone number over there. If you have another number, you enter it. If you have a work number, you enter it. So you can enter as many as 3 numbers. If you don't have and you have only one telephone number, you have to select does not apply for the other 2. If you leave it blank, it is not going to allow you to proceed. So whichever does not relate to you, just have to click does not apply. Then they ask you, have you used any other telephone numbers during the last 5 years? So for instance, if you're currently using an MTN number and you write that one there, and you know that last year you were using a Vodafone or even the same MTN but different number, you have to select yes and type that number there. Even though you're no more using it, you have to type it. I don't know why they need it, but they are asking you that, have you used any telephone number during the last 5 years, right? Apart from the one you stated, then you have to select yes, and an option will come. Then you enter that telephone number over there. The S260 form is very trickish. I will encourage you that you take your time, listen to whatever advice I'm giving to you, and do it. Don't be jumping. Oh, where they here? Me selecting no. Why don't you select yes and enter the number? So the best thing is to do the right thing. That's all. All right. Then we come to email address. You enter your email address over there, and they are going to ask you, have you used any other email address during the last 5 years? So that one to the same you did for your telephone number. You do that one. Yes, you select yes, then you enter your previous email address. If no, then you select no. All right. Then we go to social media. Social media. This is why I have issues with ladies. TikTok. Now, character is one thing that America, they really look at it. Character, violent speech, their term, namu yi mo shesha panties na mo japade ebobobom na mo de TikTok no. Now, they are asking of social media platform, and you have to select. Say at this point, social media, they have a lot of ways to search with social media. They can use your email address to search. Once about TikTok, sometimes my telephone number no, local friends who are TikTok as suggested on my account amount. Yes, with your telephone number, with your email address, they are able to go through Facebook, TikTok to search for you, to know who you are, your character. So the social media is very important. If you're not using your social media for any better thing, I will encourage that you stop it. You don't even enter that you have a social media, or you probably delete all your, sorry to say, nonsense from the social media. Because even if you select no, and they are able to do a background check and they find out, you are not going to get an interview date. All right. The social media can create a positive impact and a negative impact. For instance, you'll be a opamade, what they were near to or fashion, ubotre, or they are toto. Now the S260 form, so what they are just say, oh, America, crowd kubotre. Now social media create a provision and power. You see, this is a positive impact. So American lottery, a lot of things go in for you to get interview, and people like, my apply, I didn't get interview. What happened? When the way I must share the S260 no one sana oma assign interviewer. Nka onfa enema bi ede eni agro. So this is a caution to most of the ladies and gentlemen more edit social media edi agro. All right. We're still under the previous. So after you type in your social media, so you're going to select Facebook. If you select it, they are going to ask the account name. If you have so many social media accounts, you click add another. So maybe it's Facebook, you type the account name, add another. TikTok, you type the account name like that. All right. If you don't have social media, then you go, no, I don't have any other social media, right? Okay. Present and previous address information page. We're still on it. So all this we've discussed, we've discussed. Sometimes duplicate it twice. So and to once a social media, for instance, watch social media, watch ax.fm and ID no, watch it has in fact was TikTok now watch user ID no That is how it is going to appear. All right. Because now let us go to your mailing and permanent address information. This is section number 4, mailing and permanent address information. All right. So this one, they need your mailing address. So they are asking you a first question. Is your mailing address the same as your present address? So baby, I would know or house number PO box, is it the same as mailing address? Oh, Ghana address system, it doesn't use our residential address. For instance, Otetakwa, Obetrabia block 12 P is 120. Most of the time, you know, post office. So obey a TV, but not the PO box, and so you're the German PO box. So it's such a bet letting know now what I pay the actual mailing address at the moment. But oh, abrocha, my apartment, it is my mailing address. Into a shapia de bremia, a betome quayano, bagana and tessa. If you are credit post office na wakwaje. So you see, a hono obesa let say it is not the same as my address, no. Na wabo no, na what trade the actual mailing address. Ebi audio PO box no asheho. All right. Now the permanent address, if you don't have it, so you have to state that one also over there. Let us go pass here. I've discussed all this. If you are filling it online, it is not going to be repeated, right? But because this one is an offline, so they want to explain everything into detail. That is why they keep repeating the pages. But I've explained it for you, so we don't have to go through. Now, the next section number 5, is family information page. The family information, we have 4 sections under it. The first section is your parents page. Now, they first ask you, your parent, your father. So you can see father. So the surname of your father. If you don't know, you select do not know. You can see that one, do not know. So they want your father's surname. If you don't know it, do not know, but you have to enter it. Given name, that is their first name and middle name. You enter it. If you don't know, do not know. Date of birth of your father, right? If you don't know their date of birth, you select do not know. Place of birth, the city where your father on his birth cert, right? If your father is not having birth cert, just write anything over there. Your father is not going with you, so the parents' information is not really necessary. It will become of a benefit if one day you want them to join you to America, and that is where it is very necessary. So if you don't know, just select you do not know. The city, the state, or so that one you can write either the municipal or the region they accept, and the country select Ghana over there. Is your father still living? Of papa edaso tiase. Otiase yes or no? Otiase yes. On tiase na wabo no. Eho yebe discuss eho. Now mother, o maame so the same thing. Now why yes ama o maame. Eho so no bisa is your mother still living? Otiase yes. On tiase no. Now ye ko forma obechirim. O father de no. O ka se otiase yes a obebisa o address bebe o papa te. Nti ebia sesi ano onya ono neti. O tetachima ena ono neti konongo. Nti ne house number, address ni bibia city, konongo right state na watre Ashanti region and Azabia Asante Achim Central and IBB. So you can use the municipal or the region for the state, right? Now postcode, you know, if you don't know, just select do not apply. Now country was selected Ghana. All right. Oma so the same thing. Otiasia yes no ba na and also yes ama. And te ho no baby is your mother's address the same as your father's address. Tis all no papa netia and who has also be bobashim and also about yes. My mother's address is the same as my father's address. No more you so eno. O mame te baby for no abo no. Na why and also ama o mame. O father ewa. Is your father still living? O select no. My father is not living. Then year of birth. It data o papa year na o papa ewu ye no. Year of birth. Na was selected at the wabo at the show ebian papa ewu 2010. And I said oh 2014. Na wabo asheho. O mame so the same thing. Is your mother still living? Obo noah. Men kamo ya mamuti na mama no papa film, right? Now about year of birth no at the show. All right. Now when I discuss it, so let's go. When I discuss it. Yeah, family information, spouse page. Family information. If you listen to me on TikTok and you want to support, you can power tap, you can share the live, you can gift me, whatever you want to do, right? Those on YouTube, you can also like the live, you can even share, right? All right. Family information, your spouse page. That is the section 2 of the family information. Oyere ana okunu. So the spouse information, your current spouse, into her current spouse, oba order so eneneti and abema order so eneneti is your current spouse ena obisa. Current spouse, ne surname and a giving names. They be catch a giving name, no, and the first name and middle name, and I'll be born in our show. Now, date of birth, now what about Sapepe or Yere and Okunu date of birth, I shall pepe. Wait, it's very important because you'll be going with Oyere and Okunu, right? A very necessary. Okay. Now I have say, hopefully America look as we are single. Now okobo yiri shemwa. Then o marriage certificate no. I was a date ni show say oh worry oba after say to lottery no. And yes and also a foul. For instance, now I worry, but October what lottery no. We yira nkotwa picture into one financial so and ha o person the next so ye be deny visa no. It one financial so name mum o the next so there. Then quiet marriage certificate a say oh mo worry even January and February no make say okay. And then now to abano. Now we now worry no. Right? Nancy and worry no. That one is accepted. All right. Until now what oyere or spouse no information eda so oyere ana okuno. Ti ano so the same thing we be yama maame and as one kasa. We city baby or state and I don't really have to be explaining this, right? At least spouse address na and also what select occupation. Oyere okuno oye juma ben na what select baako, right? Until select one a list of occupations ebeba. Say oyere adwuma enimu a eya na list of occupation or omotre others. So and also what select others na what type asho ebia or hairdresser any list in ma o select others na obeka say specify na wabo adwuma kra ukuna na oyere no oye a America for no amfamba. Then because our warranty date of marriage ti no show marriage certificate in this one the day the month and the year and a city near krokra mo ye wedding no it show marriage certificate in this one corona we wedding was no enye baby awufiri o ebi a awufiri konongo but mo koye wedding no watachima enti wo marriage certificate so no baby am ye wedding na tachima na hyeso enti ho fe wani. That is why me say you discuss no who documents a obehia gu ho e dey afele forms no enti ho city no enye baby awufiri ana baby oba no firi nemom baby am ye wedding because minimo bi a ono ne firi Kumase oba ne firi Takrade but omo ye omo wedding wa Accra enti ho city no Accra na de be show ho na wedding no e course na state the bank catch say ho oka state per for regional na municipal na show na country was select Ghana. All right. If your spouse migrating with you to the US, are you going immediately with your spouse? Yes or no? Then you select it. Are they migrating to you later date? Right? Nah, and also yes or no, right? So if you are going with them, it is a yes. Are they coming to join you later day? Later date? No. So here will be yes, here will be no, right? You select like that. All right. So it'll keep repeating, but I've explained all these. It'll keep repeating itself. But if you're feeling that the exclusivity from online, it doesn't repeat. Once you are done, you go forward. But because this is a discussion page, they try to repeat it for you to understand. Previous spouse. Do you have previous spouse? Why worry ejai? Right? Why worry ejai? Previous spouse. So yes or no? Or current spouse, the ordinary. Why worry ejai? What divorce that? Yes or no? So that one you select yes or no. Right? If you select yes, they're going to ask you information about ukunu dada na oyere dada. Right? If you say no, then you have to proceed to the next section. So information of previous wife. If you select yes, then this page you have to fill your previous wife. So information is the same thing. Do you have a previous spouse? Yes or no? Yes. So number of spouses, ebia watre 1, another 2, another 3. Ebia me maware 4. I used to leave them. Obviously, Sassy Jane, I say don't understand the language, please speak English. All right. So previous spouse, you have to state the number of your previous spouses. So if you don't have any previous spouse, it's a no. But if you have a previous spouse, you have to state probably 1 previous spouse or 2 or 3. Then all their names, they need every details of those spouses that you left them, you divorced them, right? So their names, giving name, date of birth, date of marriage, date of the date the marriage ended. So when I talk about previous spouse, legally spouses, and you will be an no, not your how do we call it, friend or something like that. It should be your legally married spouse. I'm a divorcee. So a spouse that you had a marriage certificate that you can really get details to fill it. So the date of marriage, the date the marriage ended, and how was your marriage terminated. So that one, there are some options. So if you look at it, they can write court, family, friends, others. So if your marriage was terminated by the court, you select the court. If it was terminated by your family, you select family. If it is your friends, you select friends. So I remember friends is part. Yeah, friends is part. If it is other, you select other. Then you explain how it terminated. Then you type it over there. All right. Then the country where the marriage was terminated, then you select the country over there. All right. Then family information, children. That is the last section under the family information. Your children. Do you have any children? Yes or no? So if you don't have any child, you select no. You proceed to the next section. If you have, you select yes. Then you fill their details. So if you select yes, the first child, child number one. So their surname, their first name, date of birth. So it's the same information, keep repeating, but with different family people. So if you have knowledge of you doing for your mom, your dad, the same knowledge you can use to do for your spouse, your children, and everybody. So I don't have to keep repeating all these, right? So your first child, their date of birth, blah blah blah. Are they going with you? Are they living with you? You select yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Your second child, you do for them, blah 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 blah. All right. Now let us go to the next section. That is section number 9. Section 9 is previous US information. The previous US information, they are asking you, have you been in the US before? Yes or no, right? So if you select no, you are good to go. If you select yes, they're going to ask you some questions, right? Visa ben they call it on which visa, right? On which visa, date of the visa, how date that is it expired, right? So they're going to ask you a lot of information about your migrating to the US, your previous migration. So if you select no, you are good to go. Have you ever been issued a US visa before? Yes or no? No. Have you ever been refused US visa before? So refuse admission in the United States, refuse a visa, admission, withdrawn application for admission at the port of entry. So it is 3 in 1. So the first one is, have you been refused a visa before? Yes or no? Have you been refused admission in the United States? Admission is not a school admission. No, it's about you going to US and they didn't allow you to enter. So US is, if you enter US, they call it you've been admitted in the United States. So have you entered US that they refused you, right? Or have you withdrawn from your application for admission, right? Have you at a port of entry or something like that? That you have to select yes, no, right over there. Previous US travel history, we still under it. So if you select you have been in the US before, yes, then they ask you visa, where were you issued that visa, right? So the date you arrived, your length of stay, the date you left, a whole lot, blah blah blah. So you enter a lot of things around your visa. Those of you who are already in US, you can also select that. If you are in the US, especially students, and any other visa category. If you're already in the US, you don't have to fill the DS-260 form. You have to fill another form called the um form I-155 or something like that. Forgotten. Yes, you have to fill it and give it to the USCIS, United States Citizenship Immigration Services. So you don't fill the DS-260 form if you're already in the US. All right. Legally, if you're in the US legally, let me put it that way, because you are changing your status. So you have to be on a status to be able to change. Present work, education, or training information. That is section number 10. Section number 10. Present work, education, information, and training. Somebody said, what about you didn't add your child initial? So if you didn't add your child initial, you don't have to add them because you are not going to be, you are going to be denied. It means you lied when you were applying for the lottery. So if you have children and you didn't add them, please don't add them, except the child was born after you participated in the lottery. So if your child is quite younger than when you apply for the lottery, then you can add a child. But if you had them before you apply for the lottery and you decided not to add them, then during the DS-260 form, you are not supposed to add those children. All right. Present work, education, or training information. So your primary occupation you select. Then in which occupation do you intend to work in the US? This is where the trick is. And this is where the secondary school certificate and the work experience. We are going to discuss a lot around this. So I told you guys that if you are filling the DS260 form, they ask you what you are doing in Ghana now and what you want to do in the US. So your primary occupation in wherever you are, if you're in Ghana or wherever, so you have to select. So there are a list of occupations. If yours is not in, you are supposed to select others. Then you specify, probably others, then you specify, right, the type of job that you're doing. If yours is in the category, then you have to select. Then they ask you, in which occupation do you intend to work in the US? You going to the US, which occupation do you intend to work? So that one you have to select. I am a nurse in Ghana and I want to go and I want to practice a nurse in US, right? So a lot of list. You are going to see US Army, American Army part. If you are interested in the Army, this is where you are supposed to select that I want to join the Army, right? If you are interested, select that you want to join the Army. So there are a list of jobs that the US want you to come and do. So you have to look through and select one. Now, somebody will say that the US Army, you have to be a permanent resident before you can join the Army. Yes, but you have to note that American lottery makes you a permanent resident. So it makes sense, right? Because if they give the visa to you, you are a permanent resident, therefore you can join the Army. So if you state that I want to join the Army, you are not wrong. All right. So for instance, primary occupation, right? Primary occupation, you see agriculture over there. So in Ghana, so if you are in the agriculture, the list of how do we call it? The list of occupations are there. So if yours is inside the agriculture, you select agriculture, then they are asking your present employer or the school name, the address of your employer. So the reason why they are saying school is the occupation, student is also classified as occupation. If you are currently a student, it is classified as an occupation. So under the occupation, you're going to see student, you're going to see a lot of job roles. So if you select a student, then you have to write your school name and the school address over there. That is why you are seeing present employer or school address, right? So that is it. So you have to know the difference. If you select a job, then write your employer's address, the name of the company, where it is located, the city, the postcode, and the country. Do you have any other occupations apart from the one that you selected? Do you have any additional occupation? If yes, then you have to fill the same way that you did, just like you doing a resume, right? Okay. Now, which work do you intend to work in the US? That one too, if you select agriculture, then you are supposed to where is it? You can select, yes, you can select it if where is that section? Yeah. So if you don't see the job that you want to do in the US and you select others, you have to specify. So if you don't see any job, any category in the US, then you select other. Then you type whatever you want to go and do in America, specify, then you type it over there. All right. If you are not employed, you select not employed, then you have to explain why you are not employed. But I wouldn't encourage you to say not employed when you cannot explain yourself properly. Because if you are not employed, how do they give the visa to you? And what is your intention of going to America? Because you know the questions are what are you doing in Ghana right now? And what do you want to do in America? So if you state you are unemployed and you go and say, I want to go and work in America, American employers want people with skills and experience. So that means if they give the visa to you, it is a waste of visa. And so it is going to go against you. So I will not encourage you to state unemployed. You have to find a job to do and use that job to fill the DS260 form. All right. Some of the pages keep repeating because I told you that this is a downloaded format. If you're filling online, you're not going to repeat pages. All right. Another question is, were you previously employed? Apart from the first employer that you gave, this is your past, right? Your past, your previous. So the first one was present. Now we are previous. So if you are a student, You are not supposed to select you are employed. You have to select student and enter your current school, not your past school. That is under the present, right? If you go to the previous section, that one too, they are going to ask you your previous work slash education slash training. So previously, if you've worked before, you select yes, then you list them over there. If not, you select no, right? So if you are currently working 2 jobs, you state all the 2 at the present information. You shouldn't bring one at the previous if you are currently doing 2 jobs, right? But if you've done 2 jobs, one is previous, one is present, then you have to separate it. One here, one there. All right. If you are previously not employed, this is your first job, then you select that one. Then if you get to the previous, you select no, I am not having a previous employment history. All right. Then the next question that they ask you is, have you attended any education institution at a secondary level, right, or above? So you see, people were talking a lot on TikTok the other time that I did a video about secondary school education, and people were like, why can't I give them my master's or my how do we call it, my degree or my diploma? And Tips is saying that they still need a secondary school. Yes, they need a secondary school because you are supposed to enter your previous educational level at secondary level or above. So from secondary level going. Now, if you select, you cannot just enter the name of the school that you did your master's. Let's say KNUST and say master's in. How did you go to that stage? So you have to start it from the secondary level, then you type it up to the master's level, just like you display on your CV or the resume, like that. And because you list those schools and those certificates on your DS260 form, you are supposed to go with the original copies of those certificates. And so if you have master's or bachelor's degree, you still have to go with your secondary school certificate because you indicated it on the DS260 form. All right. Yeah, so you can see if you've attended an educational institution at the secondary level or above, you select yes, then you see they are going to say number of educational institutions attended. So if you count from secondary school, how many schools have you attended? Then you select 1 or 2 or 3. So if you know that you attended secondary school and still went for another secondary school because your WASI results wasn't that good, so you wrote another WASI, or you joined another school to write NOVDEC, you are supposed to select 2 because they said educational institutions, right? How many schools have you attended apart from the secondary level? So even if it's still the secondary level and if you attended 2 different schools, one, your previous school, you didn't get the WASI, you went for another school to write another WASI again, you're supposed to select two different institutions, and you're supposed to list them. The date you went there, the time that you graduated from the first one, the date you went for the second one, the time you graduated. The same thing. If you are currently in the university, is you have to count from the SHS level. So if it is from SHS straight to university, then it is going to be 2. But if it is from SHS to nursing training to the university to do your BSc in nursing, then it's going to be 3. It's from SHS to teacher training to your further education is still going to be 3. So the number of education institutions, please, you have to count them properly. You are going to argue on your skills and experience during the interview. So please don't make mistake. All right. So if you select it, the name of that institution, the address of that institution, city, state, and everything, right? Postal, zone code, and everything. The country where that institution is located, the course or program. So SHS level, that is the program. Maybe general arts, general science, agriculture, visual arts, right? Home economics. If it is a degree or a diploma, you have to state it. So the degree or diploma, that one you're going to write a high school certificate or a high school degree, or you can write WASI, right? West African examination, blah, 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 right? Certificate examination. You can type everything over there. So you have to state it so that they know that, okay, Konongo Odumasi. So name of institution is going to be Konongo Odumasi Senior High School. Address is going to be Konongo Odumasi, PO Box, blah, blah, blah. The city is Konongo, or maybe Odumasi. The state is going to be Ashanti Achim Central. Postal code, you leave it. Country, Ghana. Course of study, maybe general science, right? Degree, high school degree. The date attended. So I attended probably in June. So it's all the date, not the day. So probably 1st June 2010, and I graduated 30th June 2013. So you see, the date you went to that school, the date you entered, and they are not asking you for your certificate, whether A or B2 or B3 or C4. That is why I told you that just list your schools. So if you know you failed a program, you failed a subject, then go and write NOVDEC. After you submitting the S260 form, you have enough time. If you check your results in May and you've submitted the S260 form in June, you might get interview somewhere December, January, February next month, next year. And so within that time, you can prepare for NOVDEC and write it. So if you go for the interview, they said, you went to Congo Massey, you stated on the DS260 form, you said, yes, 2010 to 2013, right? Yes. Where is the certificate? You give it to the, science, you got F9. What happened? We are not giving a visa to, no. I have written NOVDEC, right? This is my NOVDEC certificate. Then you give it to them. That's all. You have argued your case. So you don't have to be asking me a lot of questions. Tips, I got E8, what are you doing? Go and better your certificate. Go and better your certificate, because you are not given the certificate during the DS260 form. You just list the name of the school, the address of the school, the program that you did, the date you attended, the date you graduated. That's all. And the certificate, the name of the certificate, maybe WASI, high school certificate or something like that. You are only going to present the certificate to them when you're going for the interview. And so you have to better it. All right. Now, if you have any other school, you have to list it. So you are going to list from your secondary school to the higher level, right? To the highest level. So if you do school number 1, then you do for school number 2. So your school number 2, so you can see add another. Can you see the add another with a plus sign over there? The add another. Why is it? Did I just lose that page? Oh my God. Just give me a minute. I just lost that page. Yeah, I think we have it now. We have it now. Yes. So you can click on the add another. Then you list that one too. So probably my next school is going to be Methodist University. I did diploma in nursing or degree in nursing from this date to that date, right? So the school, the institution name is going to be there. Methodist University, the address of that school, where it is from, right? The postal code and everything, country Ghana. Then the course, probably diploma in registered nursing or BSc in nursing or whatever, right? So the course will be nursing, then the degree will be diploma, right? So the course will be registered general nursing, then the degree or diploma, you write diploma. So they have to just add it up, right? Then the date you went, the date you left. Now somebody say, what if I'm still in the school? So if you read here, they are saying that level of education, I think they want the ones you've graduated or so, something like that. Okay, so for high school course of study, please indicate academic or vocational. All right, so course of study, if it is academic course, you have to select academic course. Then the degree is where you select the WASI. So, right, all right. So the course of study, you write either academic or vocational. So if yours is academic or vocational, then you state it. Then the degree or the diploma, that is where you state the name, right? Whether a high school degree or something like that. All right. At first I said general as or something, but they said no, they don't need a general as, they don't need, just state whether it is academic program or a vocational program. All right. And I think the level of education, you must answer yes to questions if you have ever attended, not attending. You have ever attended, right? So if you are currently attending, ignore that one and use what you've already attended, because if you have attended, then you have to. That is why we have date of completion over there. If not, you will not be able to complete that form, right? The form ended too. It's going to be an issue. All right. Let's see if we get to a stage where they said your current school, but you have to know that this is a previous institution. So somebody is asking if I'm currently in school. That is not going to be under this section. That is going to be the where the present work history. That is where you're going to select student, right? So if you are currently in school, it should be here, the present work history. then you select student. If you select student, the name of the employer, where blah 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 blah, then you list it. That one they don't ask from to, right? So if you are currently in the university, the first your university will come under the present. Then what we were discussing is your previous. Your previous. All right. Let us go to section number 12, additional work education history. Section number 12. We have to be fast. If you are on TikTok, you can join me on the YouTube or you can watch that video. That video is going to be there for you guys. If you win the lottery, it is there for you. You can watch it any day, anytime. Today, we are doing this discussion to help you gather your documents. You know, some of the things that I'm telling you is even giving you a clue of the documents you need to gather there, right? If they ask you this and you don't have that document, why don't you go for it? Additional work education or training information page displayed for all applicants who are 14 years or older, right? To answer the questions. All right. So they ask you, have you traveled to any countries or region within the last 5 years? So have you traveled within the last 5 years? Yes or a no? Then you select it. Have you served in the military before? Yes or a no? If you've served in the military, if you are a soldier in Ghana watching me, you are currently in the military and if you want American lottery, you have to select yes, and they're going to ask you some questions about your military records. All right. So if you've traveled to any other country within the last 5 years, yes or a no, they are going to ask you the country. Select one, right? If a lot of countries, multiple countries, you click add another, then you keep typing them, typing them, typing them. If you've served in the military before, you select yes, you are going to select the country, maybe Ghana, branch, rank, military specialty, and the date of service two. So from two. So if you're currently in, you tell them, I don't know, probably you leave that place blank or something. I don't really know. If you are filling the DS260 form and you are a military personnel, the date from N2, you are not able to enter the date to enter the current date that you are filling the American lottery, right? Enter it, because you cannot enter a future date, because you don't even know when you quit the army, right? So you just have to enter that date over there, that from 2020 to 2024, the date that you are filling the American the student form. Just enter that date over there so that you'll be able to proceed. If not, if you leave that place blank, it will highlight, you cannot proceed. There are other questions. So these questions are yes or no. The first two we've answered. Have you traveled to any other country? You have to list them. Have you served in the army before or the military before? Yes or no, you have to select. Have you belonged to, contributed to, or worked for any professional, social, or charitable organization? So if you've worked for any professional organization, social organization, charitable organization, yes or no, you select. If you select yes, they're going to ask you about that, the name of the organization, or probably whatever that the aims of that organization, right? If not, you just select not. Do you have any specialized skills training such as firearms, explosives, nuclear, biological experience? No. But if you are a military, probably you know some of these things. So they're just asking you. Um, have you ever served in a member or involved in a parliament, vigilante group, rebel group, a whole lot of organizations? So if you've been a member of, sorry, paramilitary, sorry, not parliamentary, paramilitary. So a group that is not military, but they do some things contrary to the military. So all these groups, vigilante groups, rebel groups, they are all bad groups. If you select yes, I'm not telling you if they'll give a visa to you, but you know it. You know it. And you're gonna make a show, right? So If you were ever part of a vigilante group, now select yes there. Um, can you speak or read languages other than your native language? So your native language is probably Akan or Ewe or Ga or Frafra or whatever. So if yes, then you're going to select some languages, probably English, French, or something. There are some options over there. Then you select it. So it keeps repeating itself, right? So for instance, this one, if you belong to any social group, yes, then they ask for the organization name, right? So it keeps repeating itself. This one to do you have any skills or training such as firearms? If you select yes, then you have to explain the skills or training. That is what they mean. Have you ever served in the rebel group, paramilitary, vigilante group? If you select yes, you have to explain why you joined such a group. So I don't know if you're going to select yes. Do you speak any other language apart from your native language? If you select yes, you have to list those languages that you can speak or read. So maybe English, French, you list them over there. Okay. It keeps repeating itself. Okay. The next section, section number 13, is petitioner information. Petitioner information. The petitioner, who is a petitioner? Your petitioner is generally the US person or business who made a formal request that you be considered for the immigrant visa or permanent legal residence. Your petitioner is generally your US relative or your US permanent resident relative or your US employer. In some cases, you may fill a sorry, in some cases, you may have filed a petition on your own behalf. So have you applied for a permanent stay in the US? Probably a family route or a job, right? You know, job is also part of those route, the immigrant visas. So have you ever filed an immigrant visa before? Did you get a company that was sponsoring you before, or you had a family, your father, your mom, your siblings who wanted to come and pick you to America, not on a visit? This is immigrant visa, right? So those people must be in the US and you are going to select. So that one you can select my petitioner is my mom, my dad. So there are some options that is going to drop over there. So the petitioner can be if it display your mother, your brother, your spouse, your child, your stepfather, your stepmother, your uncle, your auntie, your grandparents, your in-law, right? You can select any of them. So petitioner information, for instance, if you select your father, that your father is your petitioner, your father is somebody who filed for US visa for you before, then you have to state it. State your father's name, blah, blah, blah. So the address is going to be in the US because they said your petitioner is somebody in the US, probably a citizen or something like that. All right. Their telephone number and everything over there. If you don't have a petitioner, just say no. That is why there's a yes or no answer over there. So if it is your employer, if already employer filed for a petition for you, then you are going to state that as well. All right. You're going to say so it's not your employer in Ghana, but your US employer, right? So let me repeat the meaning of a petitioner. A petitioner is generally the US person or business who made a formal request. Who made, that means it's a past application. Who made a formal request that you may consider for an immigrant, not non-immigrant, an immigrant visa. Examples of immigrant visa is employment, spouse, family, and the DV lottery. These are immigrant visas. If it was a visit, a conference, no, they're not talking about that. If your family member invited you for visit, they're not talking about that. They're talking about immigrant visa or even a permanent stay. So your petitioner is generally the US citizen relative or the US citizen permanent resident relative or the US employer. All right. So that is that. So if you don't have any, if you've not gotten a petitioner ever in America before, nobody has applied for a permanent stay or immigrant visa for you before, just select no. I don't have any petitioner and then move on. If you yourself, you filed for a petitioner before yourself, then you have to select yes, the petitioner is myself. Okay. So, for instance, if you did for American lottery, right? You submitted American lottery DS260 from last year, you won it, and you submitted your DS260. That means you did a petition that they should consider you to stay in America. And American lottery is an immigrant visa. So that one, you have to state the petitioner is myself. I have already applied before and I didn't get it. And this year I won again and I'm doing it again, right? So the petitioner can be yourself. Probably you have ever applied for immigrant visa before. All right. Um, Now let's go to security and background, the medical and health information page. I think that is my last but one page for discussion. We are almost done. They are going to ask series of questions, right? Do you have any communicable diseases of public health, such as tuberculosis, TB, right? Yes or no. So if you don't have it, no. If you have it, yes. If you say yes, you're going to explain. Do you have documentation to establish that you have received vaccinations in accordance to the US law? Now, because it's an immigrant visa, you have to get vaccination. I told you where you can get vaccination, right? So some of the vaccines you get it during childbirth, and you should get it, see it in your weighing card. If you don't have a weighing card, go to the public health department and ask them to do a weighing card for you or something like that, containing the vaccinations. Then those vaccines that you can get it during how do we call it, later age, like the Hep B vaccines, tetanus vaccines, COVID-19 vaccines, and those vaccines, you have to get them, get documentations for them, because they are going to ask you. It's very, very important. I think there are about 16 vaccines that you have to cover. Go on my YouTube page. Tuesday we discussed about the vaccines, so go and read around, go and watch that video. You're going to know the vaccines that you need. All right. Tips, you didn't tackle the host. Yes, I've not gotten there. I've not gotten there. Do you have any mental or physical disorder that poses or likely to pose a threat, right? So if you talk about physical disorder is something, probably physical disorder, you are using a wheelchair or something, right? Pose a threat to, even this is a threat to a safety or welfare of others, probably not only the safety but welfare of others. So something, it should be mental disorder or something that you think, oh, this is a challenge that is going to pose a threat to yourself and others. They say like, yes, right? Are you or have you ever been a drug abuser or addict? Drug abuse or addict, right? Um, if you talk about drug abuse, trauma, have you ever abused trauma before or addicted to trauma, cocaine, and those weed, right? Mumu baby wa mushiwi. Mushiwi. But mobile Latino, damage. Thank you, my guy, right? My guy on TikTok for gifting me. Mumu baby wa. So you have to select yes or no. All right, let's continue. Have you ever been arrested or convicted for any offense or crime, even though subject of pardon, amnesty, or similar actions? So have you ever been arrested before? Yeah, the police station, prison, that anabibisa, right? Even if you were pardoned, you have to state yes, I was arrested. And I achieved me. So even though you were pardoned or amnesty or anything was given to you, you have to still select yes or a no. All right. Have you ever violated or engaged in conspiracy to violate any law, right? Have you done anything to violate the laws of your country? Yes or no, right? So that place, you have to be very, very careful. Whatever decision that you take is going to affect you. Now, I know most of you genuinely you've not done that, but instead of you selecting no, because of home probability, no boy yes. For instance, yes, actually what boy yes. Have you ever been involved in any violation or something like that? Boy yes, because or clicking no, mouse and boy yes. And when you fearful, if you need be anywhere, or use mouse, a do any of that shit, yan and nabi or there be a one I want you serious. Fee when Feel when in a yardena, Ujina so one an right? So a hono a drew has a meshamo, monfe money, yes or no, no, monfe money, papa, 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 papa. Now, whatever you do there is going to be used against you. Are you the spouse, the son, the daughter of any individual who has violated any controlled substance trafficking law, blah, 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 blah? So, are you the daughter, the son, or anybody? Even anyone away, but o baby na ye, unia baby na ye, or daughter, or son, be na ye, and also yes or no. But I know most of you, I also will check or trouble, right? I say, or maybe some a lot. Are you coming to the United States to engage in prostitution? Confirm this question. No. Are you coming to the US to engage in prostitution or any unlawful commercialized vice or something like that? Right? Into the first one is, are you coming to the US to engage in prostitution or any unlawful commercialized vice? And the second one is, have you been engaged in prostitution within the last 10 years? I know the yes or no, paper and also, Nyame show. Have you ever been involved or do you seek to engage in money laundering? Right? Fraudsters, no, right? Those fraudsters, no, scammers, no, right? Game boys, no, money laundering. Have you ever been involved? The answer, yes or no? But Mr. I say the other selectibia, it is going to be used against you. Interfere when have you ever been have you ever committed or conspired to commit human trafficking? I don't think you've done that. Have you ever knowingly aided, assisted, or colluded with an individual who has been identified by the president trafficking? It's all around the trafficking. So that is going to be no. This one too, are you the spouse or this human trafficking? So it is going to be a no, a no, a no, a no. All right. These are another set of questions. Do you seek to engage in sabotage, export control violations, or any illegal activities whilst in the United States? Are you going to engage in illegal activities? It's a yes or no, so you select. Do you seek to engage in terrorist activities whilst in the US? It's a yes or no, so that is a no. Have you ever or do you intend to provide financial assistance to right? Are you going to sponsor people to do those terrorism or terrorists? Are you going to sponsor them? It's a yes or a no. Are you the spouse, the son of individual who is going to engage in such activities? That one to is a yes or no. So all these are yes or no. Please, I had a no because if you say a yes, they're going to use that against you. And I am able to be the papa, right? Have you ever ordered, incited, committed, or participated in genocide? Yes or no? So I did be the papa. Nti oh yeah, a mouse no, right? Sheniye Emma mouse no enko click yes no. So obviously tips move fast ye movie. And ya no extra careful, right? Enche ebesi area no sir. So security information too. Security information too. Are you a member or affiliated to a communist or other? Oh, so all this is a yes or no. So all these are Hanosayana Mbwa, right? So I feel any. Have you ever abused governmental political position? Have you abused somebody in government before? All these are not good practices. Right? No, 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 no. All right. So the security information there, as a debut or hobiano, what's an yes, they'll use it against you. Have you ever obtained or assisted somebody to obtain a visa entry in the United States using by fraud or something like that? It's a no, yes or no. Right? What will be around America? Use fraud or using fraudulent you can say ways, right? Means so yes or no, right? Have you ever been removed or deported from any country? Aqua country be you deported with also yes or no. So the other time I told one lady I know over UK, say not na you know and na so more penalty because on your fast now because one case will leave here you were not deported but outside deportation agreement you chill you don't not play money you chill you outside deportation a UK for the toll file so it's going to affect country be able to quite the ban is you deported so you have to say yes and write your reason of deportation. So all these you have to read, right? Have you overstayed in US before? Have you been subjected to deportation before? All this is yes, no, yes, no. So Edruha, one kasakaimo, Makacho say, are you subject to civil penalty and all these? Have you been ordered to remove? So all this is a no, 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 no. Because if it's a yes, or unkobi. Inte honso Edruha na or sheye. Yeah, deported that you have to state a yes and state why you were deported. If they are going to accept it, they are going to accept it. Okay, say no, which one transfer and it's a problem, especially when you're deported, right? Especially if you've been deported from UK, Canada, those almost share that same immigration, right? I they want to mean transfer. So all of these are set of questions, different questions, right? Have you been removed from the US? I think it keeps repeating. Yeah, so we are almost done, right? I am almost at the end of the page. All right, so the last one is the miscellaneous information page one, and that one they are going to ask you, have you ever witnessed custody of have you ever withheld custody of a US citizen child outside the US, blah blah blah. It's a yes or a no. So all those ones, have you voted in the US in violation of any law? No, right? So all these you have to be extra careful when you are selecting your yes or a no. All right. Are you a health worker seeking to perform such work in the United States but have not received certification from the Commission on Graduate of Foreign Nursing School? Right. So this is very, very important. So if you are a nurse and you select that you want to be a nurse in America, you've not written NCLEX. So you have to select, yes, I am a health worker, but I have not yet received my certificate from any uh, Commission of Foreign Graduate Nursing Schools, right? Which is equivalent to. So you have to select it. Yes, I have not received. If you're not a health worker, you just let no, right? Are you permanently ineligible for US citizen? You say no. If you say something is ineligible, that means you cannot get a citizen, right? You say no, I'm not permanently. Have you ever departed? Have you ever departed the United States in order to evade military services during the time of war? Here, right? All right. Into do ana wankasa wakai. To the mutual money, most of them is a no, 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 because the papa. All right. Now they ask you social security number information. A social security number is a 9-digit issued to US citizens, permanent residents, and temporary residents in the United States for the purpose of employment and is issued by the social administration. So do you have you applied for a social security number? Yes or no? So no, because you don't have it. If you're already in the US, probably you're a student, you might be having it because you are working. So you can select yes, right? So it is a no. I don't have a social security number. Do you want the Social Security Administration to issue you a social security number and a card? You select yes, right? So please note that you must answer yes to the consent to disclose questions that follow order of all right. So this is the consent. Do you authorize the disclosure of information from blah 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 from them issuing the social security number to you, right? So if you need it, you select yes, I need them to issue a social security number for me. All right. So you can see that here they selected yes, yes, and that was all. All right. So if you select no, I don't authorize them to. So if you answer no to this question, you will not receive the card, right? So that place you have to select yes. I want to receive the card. If you don't have the card, if you go to America, you cannot work. So you have to write about that. Sign in and submit a page. Sign in and submit a page. Displayed for all applicants. Answer no to the questions. All right. So here you read everything here. So preparer of application. Did anyone assist you in filling out this application? Yes or no? So if it is a no, no. If it's a yes, you have to state whoever assisted you. Then enter your NVC case number and also your passport number and the code that you see. So the case number that you got, then the passport number, your passport number, and also the code as shown, right? Then you sign, then you submit. So if somebody helped you, you are going to state whoever helped you, their surname, their organization, their city, blah, 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 blah. So I don't think somebody you're going to select that. All right. So somebody was saying a host, right? I think I overpassed that page. I don't really know. There is a host. And the host, they are taking the telephone number, the address. It is part of the DS260 form. I think I have to go back. I passed that page, host. Now, I'm not able to see the DS260, the host on this DS260 form because I downloaded a template of the DS260 form. Now, DS260 form is not only used for the American lottery, and American lottery is the only one that you need a host. If somebody is going for unemployment, they don't need a host. So that is why you're not seeing that information on this DS260. However, if you go on the portal, as I was doing, if you enter your case number, your confirmation number, that the online one, you're going to see a host. And under the host, it is the name of the host, the address of the host, and also how do we call it? The name of the host, their residential address, their email address, and their telephone number. So these four, the name of the host, their residential address, where they stay in Canada, sorry, in the US, their address in US, their email address, and also their telephone number. And there's one thing that we didn't see here. It's because I downloaded the version. If the place of interview, yes, you're going to also select that as part of your visa application. Even if you are filling DS160, that option is part. So if you are using the online one, wherever you do the interview, the consulate, they're going to ask you which consulate do you want to do your interview. You select it on the DS260 form, but it is not part of this, right? Yes. So there are some things that it is not here, it's not captured here, but if you are doing the online form, you're going to meet it. So that is that. Yeah, the DS260 form is free. You're not going to pay for the DS260 form. But if you get an interview and you are going, whichever embassy that you're going to do the interview, you have to ask, do I have to pay the money before I come? Or do I have to come there before I pay the money? So some of the embassies, you have to pay before you come for the interview. And other places to when you're going for the interview, you take the money and they take it over there before they do the interview. So you have to ask them. Do I have any other questions? Please tell them that they should use us as helper because they will email you for details. They should use us as helper. Mensa, I don't really understand. Are you in the US and you want people to use you as helper or because they will email you for details, please? I don't really understand whatever you mean by they will email you. Is it the cases is going to email, or you mean that people will email me, so they have to use you as helper, like they should come to you to help them? Is that what you mean? Please, how are they going to write a case number? So the case number is written down there, and they write case number, just as I projected on the screen, right? So if you see they wrote They wrote case number, and the case number is displayed, right? So this is the case number. This is edited form, right? Your case number will be different. All right. So you're going to see a case number, then the number will be there. Hello, one of those who don't have any proof of vaccination history, no weighing card. I said go to the district assembly, sorry, the district health center. They have to do one for you. All right. If yours is lost, they know, right? They know the kind of vaccines that they give to, right? So if you see those public health nurses, they are able to take your date of birth and know that at the seventh day they took you to hospital and gave you polio or this vaccine, and so they will use that details to fill it for you, right? Don't worry. Where would you strongly advise we choose for interview? I'm just suggesting, I don't advise. I'm just suggesting South Africa and Cote d'Ivoire. South Africa and Cote d'Ivoire. Other people use Benin, Togo, and the other places. But the main popular place is South Africa and Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire, or Ivory Coast. Tips, what is the minimum grade required for DV lottery? They never stated a grade, but your certificate should be worth enough to enter America, right? So if you know you have a fail, just go and write an deck to attach. All right. Why are you repeating? KV plus, you don't repeat questions on YouTube, right? This is not TikTok. Your how do we call it? Your comment is not going anywhere, so you don't have to be repeating that same comment. I think I've answered this question. Please, are you supposed to print before you sign? No, you sign, and when you submit the DS260 form, there is going to be a confirmation page that you've submitted your DS260 form, and you print that DS260 confirmation page. All right. So after you submit the DS260 form, please, you do well to print that form. It's just like when you got the American lottery, that page, you're supposed to fill that you've completed the American lottery, right? And now when you win, you have to also print the winning form. And when you submit the DS260, you're supposed to also print that page. Please, I do it for my bro and I use my own email address. So if they ask for his social media account, please, I know if I provide them with email account, I hope my social media account will appear. I don't really know about that. I am saying if they want to investigate, they can investigate your social media through email, telephone numbers, right? It is not necessary that they are going to do it. Yeah. How will they know if you are a drug addict? If you say no, they are not going to know. They can only know after you have been asked for some. Right? If you're not a drug addict. My internet is messing up. What is that? Yeah. Sorry, guys. I hope you guys can get me now. Let me check on YouTube if everything is in touch. Margaret and those guys over there, 139 people. If you guys can hear me now, you just have to select. Sorry, type yes. I can hear you now. Let me check on my phone if the YouTube is also working here. Um, I had issues. There was just a total down of my internet. Okay, Godwin says it is working now. All right. So sorry for that. Sorry for that. Sorry for that. Yeah, yeah. Everything is connected here. My phone is also connected. Yeah. Yeah. So now at this point, the discussion is over for the DS260 form. We have learned a lot today. At least we have an overview of whatever documents that we need. If after Saturday, right? After Saturday, I'm going to schedule live, but I don't know when. After Saturday, I don't know when will be my update for next week. But I'm going to try and schedule some lives for us to discuss it into details. For instance, those who are going to win the American lottery, right? So I'm going to do it section by section. I'm not going to do everything within one day. I'm going to do section by section so that at least they can fill the DS260 form and submit on time. But today, you have an idea of all the documents. Your website should be ready because you need some information on how do you call it, your date of birth. Even if your website is not ready, at least you know your date of birth. But for your passport, additional ID card like the Ghana card or driver's license, you need it because apart from the passport, you need additional ID card and you have to enter the insurance date, the expiry date. So if you don't have it, how do you feel that? How do we call it? That place. So it is going to be a problem for you. So you have to get that document. Your marriage certificate. If you are married, you need to get a marriage certificate because if they ask you the date of marriage, probably you don't even remember, right? So if you're having your marriage certificate there, it is going to help you. And what are other documents? Your educational certificates. It is going to help you because most of you don't even know the dates on of your educational history. So if you have your certificates, at least you get to know that okay, I went to secondary school this date, I graduated this date because some of you it is shown on your certificate. Please, can you get a vaccination report from a district hospital of your choice? It must tally no. It depends, right? It depends. So this question is quite tricky because it is not so that it should tally from where you were born because let's say I was born in Konongo and within a week my mom traveled to a different place. I'm going to take my vaccines at that um how do we call it polyclinic or whichever center, right? So not necessary to go with wherever you were born. There can be other places, but if you think that you come from Techiman, so you have to go to Techiman District Health District Health Center to get it, then fine, it is good for you. All right. I'm getting tired. I'm really, really tired. When are please where are we going to see the interview dates? Is it going to be released on the site for us to book? Yeah, so you're going to get a message. As for the interview, you're going to get a message from the KCC that you've been scheduled an interview and they will ask you to come back to their website. So you come back to where you check your results with your case number, confirmation number, then you'll be able to see the interview day, the date, the location, and everything. So you get a message that you've been scheduled for an interview, but the details of the interview, you have to come back to the website. If let's say I win the lottery in May but I will be starting my master's in the US in August. How do I go about DS160? I don't know. You can fill your DS160. That's not part of the American lottery. American lottery is DS260. So when you're filling the DS260, you're currently in Ghana, you have to fill the DS260 and submit to them. And if you still want to use the school, you can still do the school and go, right? That is another portal. If you decide to print it few days before the interview, is it advisable or you have to come and if you decide to fill it a few days to the interview, I don't really understand. Is it the interview appointment? How do we call it? Yeah, so if you are going for the interview, you need to print the appointment page, right? The interview appointment letter. And so you can print it anytime. It will still be on the portal. Nana Blessing, can you explain the sponsor small, please? You have to be financially stable, right? It's a host. If you're talking about a host, then fine. A host is somebody in America where you're going to stay because you're going to US. The government is not giving you somewhere to stay. The government is not going to give you work. You are going to stay there and search for your own job. And so they need you to go there, and somebody should be there to be ready to host you. And so it can be your family member who is living there legally, and you have to use their name, their telephone number, their email address, and their residential address to fill that portion of the host. Please, about the results, after getting the original copy of the WASI, if it's not deck to I wrote, do I have to get both? Yes. So if it is not deck, you have to request a hard copy from WAEC. They'll give it to you. Please, I'm currently unemployed. Can I use my NSS during? Uh, can I use my time during NSS as my previous occupation? If you are being paid, then fine. You can use that as your previous occupation, right? Yeah. If you decide to print it a few days before the interview, is that advisable? Or you have to print it immediately? So, Joel, why do you people sit there to ask such question? So why do you have to sit there and now you're asking me that the interview appointment, do you have to fill it? Do you have to print it a few days to the interview? Or do you have to print it that day? The thing is there, you have an interview appointment. You can decide to print it, put the letter there. If you're going for the interview, you go. When I also go try and ada ube interview I print it. When your question also sometimes please let's use this, right? I don't know when your interview date number. You say okay, South Africa, this. Oh, power printing sada now. What they are told. Oh, wait, question. Oh, you guys. Oh, eti. Oh, person watch me say. Oh, printing sada na. Or maybe sa sada into printing sada. And I say, oh, corner print. Or maybe sa sada into or printing sada. We say. Well, these are not questions that you have to ask, right? And I've seen you typing it continuously. Let's say I win the DV lottery in May, but I'm starting my masters. I think I've answered this question. You don't have to be repeating the questions. Ebasana and mame edoso. Just type one question. That's all. Once actually that says same question. Please, what of us outside the country? How do you get proof of vaccination? The vaccination, I told you that we have your childhood vaccinations and adult vaccinations. So if you're talking about the childhood vaccination, then you have to go back to wherever you were born and get that record. If it's adult vaccination, you got it everywhere. For instance, if you're currently in the UK, you don't have Hep B vaccine, all those vaccines, then you have to get it in the UK, right? So that is that. Can I support my document with affidavit because I have different names? Yes, you have to support it with affidavit. Please, is the interview different from biometrics? Yes, it's the same thing. Sorry, it's the same thing, right? So you go for the interview and biometrics the same day, but it's different thing, right? Interview is them questioning you, and biometric is your fingerprint and your picture. So you do it the same day, but it's different thing, right? All right. I want to do my interview here in Ghana. Is it good to choose Ghana? It is up to you. So do a research about if Ghana has a date, right? And you do it. I don't know if it is good for you. If you couldn't finish secondary school, but you have 3 years certificates in journalism. You see, this is a controversy. Somebody got a failing, Wasi, did the masters, and they still refused the visa because they felt he went to do fee paying to obtain that masters because he was not qualified to do that masters with that secondary school certificate. So you didn't finish secondary school, but you managed to do journalism. The journalism, at what point do they? What is their entry point for the journalism in Ghana? And so if it is a junior high school that or the entry point is a senior high school and you didn't have it, but you were able to manage to do the journalism, then they are going to question you. Please, during the application, I use my nurse assistant certificate to fill, and I want to use my SS on the DS260. Will it affect me? So I told you, probably you didn't listen. I said your educational history from secondary school and above. So you have to state your secondary school and still state your nursing assistant, that education history. You have to listen to me. Proof of funds, financial stability. If you print your bank statement, is very very important. Even though it's not part of the documents, but they are going to ask you if you're financially stable. All right. Please, what if your secondary school results is not with you? So what are you supposed to do? Who issues secondary school results? Why don't you go to the school or I for it? This is not a question that you have to ask. Please. You see, some of you, I don't know. The questions that I'm expecting to answer, you are not bringing it. Well, set no why then there was a way. Uncle Jim free baby, I set free. Me, our baby, some here. To my brain, here. You people, you frustrate me. And are you going to explain to the counselor why you chose that country when you are not living during the interview? No, no, you're not going to explain anything, right? I want to do my interview here in Ghana. Is it good to choose Ghana? And what to do to get a closer date? I don't know what to do to get a closer date, but I've told you countless times, even on YouTube, sorry, on TikTok, not even about the American lottery. I've done series of videos, and you've heard me saying that Ghana, there's no appointment date. And even this discussion, somebody said, Tips, which countries do you suggest? And I said South Africa and Cote d'Ivoire. And you are asking questions that you want to choose Ghana. And I said, I cannot tell you what to do. And are you asking me that what do you do to get closer date? So you have to contact Ghana embassy to give you a closer date. Because you people, it's like, I don't know, if you don't want to listen to what I'm saying or you try to challenge or something. Ghana currently they're having issues about dating. I have said that choose Cote d'Ivoire, South Africa, and you are saying that you want to choose Ghana. So we have to leave you to choose Ghana. And are you asking me how do you get a closer date? I don't know how you get a closer date because Ghana will give you 2026. So probably you can go to the embassy and talk to them that you want to choose Ghana. They can fix you in 2024 or 2025. If it happened, then fine. All right. Because you don't want to listen. Will you help people online to check the results? Yeah, I'll be live on Saturday. So those who have issues about checking online, probably if you are scared, then I can take your confirmation number and check for you. But I'm not going to proceed. If you win, you are going to do the DS260 yourself, right? Just checking the results. And it's going to be only Saturday. I'm not going to receive emails about Tips, check my results for me after the Saturday. No, right? I'm not going to check results, right? It is only that day that we're checking our results, Saturday. If you see me online on YouTube and you are able to type your confirmation number and your name in the comment section, then I check it for you. That's all. Right. But it's not going to be email. Those emails that you used to send tips. No, it's not going to be that. Um, can you use your transcript if you haven't graduated about the class matter? If you are still in secondary school, you don't qualify. So if you are in the university and you want to do, you have to prove with your secondary school. That is what you have. You don't have to still go with your transcript for the university, right? So if you are in secondary school, you've not graduated, you don't have to pursue the DV lottery. If you are in university, they don't care about the university. What they need is your secondary school. So this question is nothing, right? Just use your secondary school. Um, Tips, please, do you know whether you added your children? How do you know whether you added your children when you apply for the lottery? How did you apply for the lottery? When you were applying for the lottery, I was not there. So how will I know if you added your children or not? Ebusa, at this point, we have to close. We have to close because I don't know if you guys mash that. How do you ask me that question? I don't know. Man, Shema Kuma Swaria, metal bomb. What to lottery no? Oh, baby, some say, obey them with all the one quad account. Now, oh, to lottery no? You don't know, say, all the one quad account. One. A bit more, I just say, many was a much out, so my day, what you want to share. if you select a country for interview, do you have to do medicals in that same country? Yes, that is the ideal thing because every embassy or consulate have approved centers that you have to do medicals. So literally that is it. If you have any inquiries, the embassy that you choose to do your biometric, you can call them, you can email them that I have interview appointment with you. Is it okay if I do my medicals in Ghana and bring it? Or probably I have to come there to do my medical. So you have to contact them, all right? Okay. Or type a question at home because if it is not an intelligent question, I'll give it to you. Please, what if I decide to go with my fiancé after winning? Will the marriage certificate delay me? Um, they have civil partnership. America has a civil partnership. So the advice I'll give to you is you have to marry that person, get a marriage certificate, and save your stress, right? If you want to go through the civil partnership, it's going to be a whole sort of wahala. So if you in your initial application, if you added that person as your spouse and you know you don't have a marriage certificate, then get a marriage certificate and backdate it. That's all. Once I'll be a marriage certificate now, or the actually because while we're in, but now we need set, right? Sana a section. Please, what are you going to do if you don't have a host? You have to stop because if you don't have a host, do not give you the visa. Get a host. Cannot do anything if you don't have a host. You have to look for a host until you get it. Yeah, your children they have to get a passport, individual passport, and in fact, you have to fill the DS260 form for each person following you. So the DS260 form that you fill is yours. It doesn't cover your spouse. You have to fill one for your spouse and your kids, right? They're also going to get a different visas, right? Yeah. Please, do we need to list every single of our previous work experience as displayed on the CV? Yes. Yes. So exactly. So when we went there, we saw that your previous experience, if you have two current jobs that you do, you have to list them, the employer's address and everything. And your past experience too. If you have past experience, you have to list them like that. Right. Yeah. Can you educate us on the available interview day? Go on the travel.gov and search available interview days. There's a link over there. You select the country, and they're going to tell you that this country interview date is about 28 days. This country interview days is about 400 days. The other time I did a video on TikTok and I told you that Ghana has 400 days. That is over 1 year. And so if you apply a visa in 2024, they're going to schedule interview date for 2026. I did. A lot of people were giving me such comments and I just kept quiet. And now people are asking that I should suggest two countries. And I say South Africa and Cote d'Ivoire. Either you go by that or you do your own research and get a country. These are the two countries I know for now, right? So you are also subjected to do your own research, get a country of your choice if you think you can get interview date in those countries. If you feel that you still want to do it in Ghana, nobody is stopping you, right? You can do it in Ghana. All right. I don't want us to use this platform to argue. And that is why I didn't like how the guy was trying to argue. So if you ask me something, what I know is what I tell you. You can also do a background check on other countries that you can get early appointment day if you think mine is not going to help you. All right. Yeah. Someone who seek asylum in Canada and want the lottery, process it. Yes, you can process it if you want to leave. Because the asylum, you said your home country is the problem, right? You're hiding from your home country, not from America. So you can leave to America. The arrangement of the documents, any ideas? So if it is the step number 6, stage number 6, then it is a PDF format. But if you are going with the interview, there is an interview checklist. Sorry, if you're going for the interview, there's an interview checklist that you have to take every document that you send, right? So your passport, do you have it? You take 2 passport photographs, you take those kind of things, right? So you have to be taking like that. All right. Somebody is also suggesting Sarah Leon for biometrics or interview appointment. All right. Um, concerning diploma midwife in Ghana, how to select the work you want to do in USA. Are you going to select? What are you going to select? So I told you that a diploma midwife, it is very difficult to practice that midwife over there. But I know some US states that allow midwives to write NCLEX and practice. So if you are going to that state and you can write NCLEX, then probably can choose NCLEX and practice as RN. But midwife in America is at the master's level. So you're not going to practice as a midwife. All right. You can also select a care assistant, right? You want to practice as a care assistant or any other thing. All right. I don't have high school certificate. You don't have to do it. If you don't have high school certificate, you don't have to do it. All right. So guys, I will end here. I'm very, very tired at this point. This is the discussion for the DS260 form. Now we know every document and every qualifications. My next section will be tomorrow, and we're going to discuss confirmation, lost confirmation number. And other tomorrow I'm going to do free consultation, and it's also going to be on the YouTube. So we are going to use our StreamYard guest or the Google Chrome as we did for yesterday. That will be tomorrow. So after we learning how to retrieve the confirmation number, I'm going to pick you guys, those who will join the live for tomorrow. And if you have any questions, tomorrow is not only going to be about American lottery, but it's going to be about other inquiries, right? Then Saturday, 3 hours to the section. I'll come live to answer most of your questions and probably stream more on TikTok than YouTube. Then I'll only come YouTube when it is time, right? When it is maybe 5 minutes to the time or something, then I come on YouTube, or probably 30 minutes to the time, then I come on YouTube. All right. So stay blessed and stay safe. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye.